This is Jarrod Horak, and this is my latest daily Preakness video update. Right now it's Wednesday, May 8th, and Kentucky Derby winner Mystik Dan returned to the track this morning at 6 a.m. He had a nice gallop of 1 mile and an eighth, and trainer Kenny McPeek's regular routine after a race to walk the first 3 days and then return to the track on the 4th day. And that's what Mystik Dan did this morning with that 1 mile and an eighth gallop. He's expected to gallop 1 mile and 3/8 on May 9th, and then at least 1 mile and 3/8 on May 10th and May 11th. Now, McPeek does want to run in the Preakness, but he's going to wait as long as possible before making that final decision, possibly this weekend or as late as May 13th. Now, the race will be drawn on May 13th, I believe 5:30 p.m. or so, and then the race is on May 18th. So McPeek's just going to wait as long as possible, make sure his horse came out of the race in good order and has good energy and is ready to run in the Preakness. If he gives all of those signs, he's going to run in the Preakness. If not, he'll wait for the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga on June 8th. So we'll get a decision soon, as I said, this weekend or as late as May 13th. Now, Kenny McPeek did a great job targeting the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby last weekend for Torpedo Anna and Mystik Dan. They both won their races. They were ready to run at the top of their game, and they really both performed excellently in those races. Now, as I said, he's going to let Mystik Dan know if he's ready to run at Pimlico or not. And if he is ready to go, he would definitely run. It seems like McPeek is leaning towards he would like to run, but as long as Mystik Dan gives him the right signs, he will go. Now, as for Kentucky Oaks winner Torpedo Anna, now she does have a skin rash, but she did gallop at Churchill Downs on May 8th, and she looked aggressive and energetic in that gallop. And if everything goes well with her, she's going to go next in the Grade 1 Acorn Stakes at Saratoga at 1 mile and an eighth on June 7th. There was some early chatter that maybe she would run in the Preakness, but they would have had to put up $200,000, or possibly run her in the Belmont Stakes, but they would have to put up $50,000. So they're just going to keep her in the filly division at this point, and she'll go for the Acorn next if she's healthy and ready to go. Now, in other Preakness news, Muth and Imagination for trainer Bob Baffert, they're going to work this weekend, and then they're expected to ship to Pimlico on Tuesday, May 14th. Now, Muth, the Preakness Stakes will be his first start in 7 weeks. He was first in the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby on March 30th, and he defeated Just Steel and Kentucky Derby winner Mystik Dan that day. And Juan Hernandez is his rider, and he has good early pressing speed. He's fresh and ready to go in the Preakness Stakes. Bob Baffert's won the Preakness 8 times, and he also saddles Imagination. And Imagination, the Preakness will be his first start in 6 weeks. He was second in the Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby behind Stronghold in his last start on April 6th. Frankie Dettori is his rider, and he's another one that has early pressing speed. But you know that Muth and Imagination aren't going to duel on the lead. There's going to be a strategy. Maybe they'll decide that down the road after post positions are drawn, and then the final field is known exactly which of those horses possibly could be going to the front and which horse will end up chasing the pace. And trainer Bob Baffert, very good at targeting a specific race. He's just like Kenny McPeek, as I said last weekend. He had those horses ready to go. He targeted the Oaks, he targeted the Derby, and he had his horses in peak condition. Bob Baffert has been targeting this Preakness Stakes for several weeks, and these horses are expected to run quality races. Now, Just Steel and Seize the Gray for trainer D. Wayne Lucas, a 6-time Preakness winning trainer. They're both coming back in 2 weeks, but one of them ran in the Kentucky Derby, and that was Just Steel, and he was cooked on the pace, and he ended up finishing 17th. But he did return to the track at Churchill Downs on May 8th. Wayne Lucas was happy with the energy level, and his rider assignment is still to be determined. Keith Asmussen rode him in the Derby. He was ridden aggressively. This horse has the ability to relax a bit and stalk the pace, and whoever he ends up, whichever rider ends up riding him in the Preakness, I would expect that he's going to end up stalking the pace, a more relaxed trip. Now, Seize the Gray was the Grade 2 Pet Day Mile winner at Churchill Downs on the Kentucky Derby undercard. And in that one-turn mile, he was cutting back in distance, and it was a nice effort. Jamie Torres rode him that day. He'll ride back in the Preakness, and Seize the Gray likes to stalk the pace, or he can close as well if the pace is quicker. Now, the latest horse to be added to the Preakness field and as a known starter is Uncle Heavy. And Uncle Heavy won the Grade 3 Wither Stakes at Aqueduct earlier over the winter. He was a wide 5th in the Wood Memorial in his last start. He likes to stalk the pace. They were considering the Peter Pan and the Preakness. They did not enter the Peter Pan. They decided to go in the Preakness with Uncle Heavy. And then confirmed yesterday on Tuesday, May 7th, Mugatu, he's one that was 5th in the Grade 1 Bluegrass Stakes. He was an also eligible scratch in the Kentucky Derby. Joe Bravo is going to be his rider, and he's a deep closer. A local horse from Maryland that's possible for the Preakness still, Copper Tax, for trainer Gary Capuano. He won his last 2 starts against listed company, so they were non-graded stakes races, the Federico Tessio Stakes and the Private Term Stakes, both at Laurel Park. He can stalk the pace, he can close, he just has to prove that he can step up and be effective at this level. He's run twice in graded stakes races, and he did not hit the board in either start. Now, a horse that hasn't been ruled out of the Preakness yet is Catching Freedom for trainer Brad Cox. And for him, he was 4th in the Kentucky Derby. He returned to the track on May 8th. And they haven't really decided what they're going to do yet. They haven't ruled out the Preakness. They haven't decided what his next start's going to be. We'll see what they end up doing. He's a closer if they decide to go in the Preakness. Right now, looking at the composition of the field, there doesn't seem to be a ton of pace. Now, Informed Patriot for trainer Steve Asmussen, he qualified for the Preakness Stakes when he won the Bathhouse Row Stakes at Oaklawn a few weeks ago. And for him, they've decided that he's not going to run in the Preakness most likely. They're going to run in the $300,000 Texas Derby at Lone Star on May 27th. Now, Tuscan Gold was a Preakness possible for trainer Chad Brown, but he has entered in the Grade 3 Peter Pan Stakes at Aqueduct on May 11th, and I'm going to talk about that race in a minute. Flavian Prat is listed to ride him in the Peter Pan, and he drew post 5. Now, Chad Brown originally said he would enter him in the Peter Pan, and then he would also look at the composition of the Preakness field, and if he felt that the Preakness was the better spot, he would scratch out of the Peter Pan and run there. We'll have to see what he ends up doing. He looks like a solid contender in the Peter Pan on paper. Now, for the Peter Pan Stakes, that is a Belmont Stakes prep race at Aqueduct, and the top 3 finishers do not have to pay Belmont Stakes entry or starting fees. So if you finish in the top 3 in the Peter Pan, you get an all paid trip to the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga. Now, Tonalist won the Peter Pan in 2014. Arcangelo won it in 2023, and they were the last 2 Peter Pan winners to also win the Belmont Stakes. And then something else worth mentioning that I saw pop up on the news just as I was doing this video. 2022 Belmont Stakes runner-up Nest has been retired. She was the champion 3-year-old filly of 2022. Now, I always liked Nest. I did multiple videos, and I picked her on top, and she always performed well. And she was my top choice in the Belmont Stakes when she did finish 2nd to her stablemate. And I did end up cashing and winning that year as well. She had a little ankle injury, and they just decided to retire her. Her final record, 14 starts, 8 wins, 2 seconds, and 2/3. And her career earnings, $2,172,675. Now we're going to meet the Peter Pan field. And most likely I'm going to do a quick picks video on my YouTube short channel. And if you go to my YouTube channel and you click shorts, you'll be able to find all the shorts videos that I do. Sometimes I just do quick picks when I don't have time to do full-length videos. So I may cover that one and just do a quick picks in the Peter Pan. But let's meet the Peter Pan field, and that will be the 6th race at Aqueduct, Saturday, May 11th, 2024, the Grade 3 $200,000 Peter Pan Stakes. This is for 3-year-olds traveling 1 mile and 1/8 on the main track. Scheduled post time of 3:08 p.m. Eastern. Protective is a maiden from the inside post for trainer Todd Pletcher. He was most recently rallying to finish 3rd in the Grade 2 Wood Memorial. Now, Unique Insight is one of 2 runners for trainer Chad Brown. This is a son of Gun Runner. He's 2 for 5 lifetime back-to-back wins when he added Lasix in his last 2 starts at 1 mile and 1/8 at Aqueduct, broke his maiden in February, and then won an entry-level allowance race on April 12th. His speed ratings are rising. He'll probably attend the pace. The Wine Steward for trainer Mike Maker. He was a decent 2-year-old last year. This is a New York bred. He won a New York bred stakes race in his 3rd career start, the Funnyside Stakes. The Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity against Locked. He ended up finishing a close 2nd, saving ground, stalking the pace. Returned from a long layoff in the Grade 3 Lexington Stakes. He stalked the pace from an inner post as the favorite. He was beaten 3/4 of a length by Encino, and he was well clear of the show finisher. So Luis Saez will ride, and for the Wine Steward, he's probably going to end up stalking the pace and probably saving some ground as well. Lonesome Boy is the 4, and he's 3 for 11 lifetime. He was 4th in the Wood Memorial after dueling on the lead last time. Tuscan Gold for trainer Chad Brown. This is the son of Medaglia d'Oro, and they paid $600,000. Lightly raced and on the improve. In his 1 mile debut, he ended up finishing an even 4th. His stablemate Sierra Leone won that one. The runner-up of that race was the next out winner. Sierra Leone ended up winning the Grade 1 Bluegrass Stakes, and then he was a close second, just missing by a nose in the Kentucky Derby. Tuscan Gold came back second time out at Gulfstream. That was a mile and a 16th race in January. He rolled to a big maiden win. And then last time in the Grade 2 Louisiana Derby. Wide stalking trip from post 10. Third, only beaten a length and 3/4. So he's one that he's got some ability. Bobby and Pratt's going to ride. He'll probably end up stalking the pace here. Antiquarian for trainer Todd Pletcher. He ends up stalking the pace most likely in this spot. He ran well in his first 2 starts, and then he was 6th in the Louisiana Derby. Deterministic for trainer Christophe Clement. Joel Rosario will ride. Won his first 2 starts, including the Grade 2 Gotham Stakes after a long layoff. Came back in the Wood Memorial as the favorite, and he disappointed. I'll have to see if he really wants to go 2 turns. Then Native Land rounds out the field for Riley Mott. And this one, back-to-back wins, a mile and an 1/8 at Oaklawn, mile and a 16th in the slop at Keeneland. He can stalk, he can close. So that's the look at the Peter Pan Stakes. I'm going to, as I said, keep checking my YouTube channel. I'll come back with a YouTube short, most likely, covering that race and giving out my top choice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content. And if you're interested in past performances for Preakness Day at Pimlico, you'll find those at todaysracingdigest.com. Preakness Week, they'll also be covering their annual Preakness Day complete digest, past performances, analysis, speed and pace ratings, and much more. Todaysracingdigest.com. You can also get my Preakness Day full cards there, or at my personal website, therunawayhorse.com, on my sales page. And that'll wrap up this video. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.